Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for this pop-up workshop on Subfield Z, or also known as Pipe Z. For those that do not know us, my name is Kristen Blumberg. I am the catalog and metadata librarian for PALS Plus, and this is my colleague, Pat Joyce, from the Alfred H. Bowman Library in Woodland Park. Subfield Z, or better known as Pipe Z, is used in the call number of an item to separate items or volumes in a serial record. You would use the Z subfield when you want to distinguish parts of a set or series in order to allow patrons to place a copy level hold, such as a particular volume in a manga series or a particular DVD format in a combo record. In short, it is used to distinguish between parts of a set that are linked as separate items but on a single bib record, and it allows patrons to place a hold on a part of a set rather than the whole. So right now I'm going to share the screen so we can pull up an example in Enterprise. Okay, can everybody see the Pokemon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Pat, I'll let you take this away.
The format of the Z subfield, the terms, abbreviations, punctuation, and spacing must be consistent for accuracy, sorting, and distribution of holds. In order to encourage greater consistency across the consortium, the Technical Services Committee has developed the following standards.
Okay. Let me just bring up the guidelines. Okay, can everybody see the guidelines?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as you can see in the guidelines here, there's certain abbreviations that everyone should follow for consistency. You would do, as we saw in some of the Pokemon stuff here, was J, poke and said V period. Some people wrote VOL period. That will not keep them in order. So when a patron goes to place a hold, it's going to be inconsistent. Let me go back to sharing that screen so I can show you guys the example. Okay, so we have the Pokemon up here, and you see some of the libraries have V period 6, some have VOL. Most have V period, but if there's even a space like right here with Passaic V period space 7, it's going to not keep them in order. So when you go to place a hold, or a patron goes to place a hold, in this drop down, they're going to have all different things to choose from. Volume 1, or, volume 2, they're going to be separated. If they were all linked the same way as V period with no space, they would just choose V period 1, and then any library that has volume 1 will send it. But if they just chose volume 2, it's only going to be one library, and maybe they can't find that copy. They mark it missing, and then that hold is in limbo for however long. Okay. So when the item is one title or a monograph record and not a multi-volume set or some type of serial, you would not use the Pipe Z. Any other information that you would include in your call number, such as a language of an item, the presence of extra material, such as a CD, a booklet, etc., it can be added in your call number, but don't include the Pipe Z if it's a single title record. And this also applies to a call number if the record is a monograph record with a volume or part number in the title that is not a multi-part or multiple volumes in the record. This would not require a Pipe Z, but you may put the part or volume number in your call number. So I'm going to bring up an example of that. Okay, everyone can see it's Avatar, The Last Airbender, Smoke and Shadow. Oh, that's not the one then.
You wanted part 2.
Oh, right. Thank you. Okay, part 2. So you see it has here P2, but if you go to place a hold, they're separated because someone put a pipe Z in there, and it shouldn't be. It should just be blank so that when the person places a hold, they'll get any of the 4 volumes. So something like this, even though it says part 2, it's a monograph record, single title just 2, because it's just part 2 in that particular record. So you can put part 2, just do not put the pipe Z. It's really like if this Avatar Last Airbender had multiple volumes attached to it, like we saw in the other one, it was a volume 1, 2, 3, 4. That is when you would put your pipe Z in. So you just have to try to remember it's a multi-volume set on one record is where you would split it up with the pipe Zs. If it's just one title, no pipe Z. It's more about discovery and for the patron trying to find what they want to put on hold and they don't get confused, and then they can have access to have a hold on everything in the system rather than just maybe one copy. I think that's it on my end. What about you, Pat?
I think you've covered it.
Okay. I know we kind of went quickly through this and it's kind of confusing as to where to put the pipe Z and the Z, but you guys have any questions? After we do both pop-ups, I can send out, the documentation on the formatting to everybody. There we go. Stop the share. No questions? Did we hit everything? Did we?
I have a question. My name's Jacqueline. I'm here for Heather today.
Oh, hey, Jacqueline.
Thank you for doing this. And I'm a little bit newer to this position. So I just wish that maybe you can clarify between a monograph title where it doesn't, it's a volume 2. There's the book drop, sorry. It's a volume 2 or a part 2. So how do you distinguish that between this multi-volume? What if there was a part 3 and a part 4? At what point is it a multi-volume?
Okay, let me share the screen again to bring up the
Sorry,
catalog.
this is a basic question.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. All right, let's go. All right, we're back to Airbender here. If you happen to look at the mark view of this one, you will see it just says Avatar Last Airbender Part 2, and that's the only thing listed here. And in the where the ISBN is, there's only one ISBN here. So if we go back to Pokemon, see if I can go back. Okay. In the mark view, you see multiple ISBNs, the multiple volumes, and it won't have it listed in the title. So just Pokemon Adventures, Diamond and Pearl, doesn't say volume 1, 2, 3, but they're all here. So you'd have to distinguish, and that's the multi-series. That's a serial record versus a monograph.
I see it clearly. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Jacqueline. I'm glad I explained it good, Okay.
Kristen,
Cindy?
if I did a book this morning, now I just, I didn't have the list, of what, and I put B for book, B.1 book. So I should write out the whole word book because I noticed that was in the.
Yeah, going forward, I'll send these. Let me share this again. Yes. Book 1, book 2.
Okay,
yeah.
So we have to write out the whole word book.
Yeah, that was what we
Okay.
had approved many moons ago before, and it helps with consistency in the catalog too.
Okay, all right.
And it's not by anyone's fault of their own. They probably, this is updated in August 2022, but so I can, after I said both pop-ups, I can send it all out with this attachment, and then everybody can have it, and hopefully, going forward, try to follow it. Things of the past, well, you're not going to go back, and if you happen to catch it or whatever, but, Is there anything else? If there's nothing else, I guess we can conclude our workshop.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for attending, guys. We appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can hit up me or Pat or anyone, or do a track it, and I'll send out the documentation later in the afternoon.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Pat.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.